This is One-on-One. Welcome back. I'm Steve Adubato. We are in the home of Angelica Berry for a very special reason. This is the on-location edition of One-on-One. It's called Making a Difference. Why? Because on May 2nd, 2013, the 17th annual Russ Berry Making a Difference Awards will take place at Ramapo College. And we are interviewing past recipients of the Making a Difference Awards, and we are here to welcome Jane Hanson, the Executive Director of Partners for Women in Justice, who was a 2009 winner.
That's right.
One of the winners of the Russ Berry Making a Difference Award. And I want to thank you for, I'm welcoming you on behalf of Angelica Berry. It's her home, and she was so good to invite us here. I want to first ask you, Jane, talk to us about what your organization is, and then we'll make a connection to the Russ Berry Awards.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
So we focus exclusively on domestic violence and on providing free legal assistance to victims of domestic violence through a combination of programs using pro bono attorneys. We have a panel of 160 pro bono attorneys from the largest law firms in the state, and we have staff attorneys, and we go into court and represent victims who are trying to get restraining orders so that they can be safe, they can keep their children safe. We help them with child support, visitation, and custody. We cannot accommodate them all in terms of providing representation. So
because the need is so great?
The need is so great, and we have limited resources, but we do provide them with advice and counsel and help guide them so they can navigate the court system.
This is interesting. You know, when I met Russ and Angelica many years ago and they first started talking to me about these awards, they said that they wanted to, as folks who saw the first part of this program, the interview with Angelica, identify unsung heroes. I know you don't call yourself an unsung hero, but you used to work in the corporate world, correct?
That's right.
You made a decision to leave that world to enter this world. And my understanding from those who said, hey, she's going to be one of our winners, is that early on with this organization, Partners for Women in Justice, you were doing almost everything. You were really doing, this is before you had a real staff and a team.
Right.
Describe what it was like in those early days. Again, you won the 2009, you were one of the winners of the 2009 Making a Difference Award. What did you do early on?
Well, we started in 2002, I guess it was, and we had about $5,000 in the bank, which was enough for 3 months' worth of expenses. And my co-founder and I, Grace Lozita was the co-founder. She and I worked without pay.
Why'd you do it, by the way, in the first place?
I think I always wanted to make a difference. And when if for a minute I can go back, I graduated from college in the early 70s, and when I was in college I had done a lot of community service, and I went into teaching afterwards. And while teaching, ultimately I was at an elite school, private school in New York City, and it was in the early 80s, and I kept thinking about wanting to do something different, although education is hugely important. I don't mean to diminish that at all. And I went to law school, and I thought I would do public interest law, but I had about a 20-year frolic and detour in which I worked for a private law firm and a corporation. And as I got close to being 50 and 9/11 came around, I really began to rethink what it is I wanted to do and decided to take the leap. I was inspired by a friend in New York City who had done something similar. And so on a wing and a prayer, I started it with Grace Lozita, and we met just wonderful, wonderful people along the way, supporters, trustees, financial backers who contributed to us and made it possible for us to do our work. One day we would provide services, another day we would raise money. And
by the way, what are these women facing? The women you're helping, what are they facing?
They're facing brutal violence. They're facing an unfeeling court system that can re-victimize them when they seek the protections of the court. They are facing abusers who use their children against them and use their children as pawns. They're facing a very, very difficult life where they live in fear and they do not experience peace. One of the things that we find after we help women, the most common response, and when they call us and say thank you, or write us a letter and say thank you, is, I finally have peace. And for those of us who live relatively peaceful lives, it's extraordinary what a difference having an attorney can make, and that's what we do.
It is extraordinary work, and I know, again, you don't call yourself an unsung hero, but when you were told that you were nominated and that you, in fact, won one of the awards for the 2009 Russ Berry Making a Difference Award, what was your first reaction?
Well, that I didn't deserve it. You know, the people who are the true heroes, the ones who have significant physical courage and rescue people from burning trucks or drowning children or whatever, I have such admiration for them, and I know I would never be able to do anything like that. That, to me, is a real hero. But when I won, it was very inspiring.
Were you there?
Yes, I was there.
What was that day like? Because for me, hosting that event year after year, I was going to say it never gets old. It always is so powerful for me. What's it like for you?
For me, too. It was a special day for me because my husband and my young son, who was 20 at the time, came, and so that was important for me, for him to see that. But it was also very, very inspiring. Angelica talked about the synergies that develop as a result of this. And
partnerships, the collaboration.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
Well, but and then the inspiration that there's so many good people doing so many good things, and that there are bumps along the way. And I think the year that I got the award, it was a tough year for us. And
your organization.
For the organization, yes,
Sure.
For the organization. And so I remember going that day thinking, well, we will be able to do this. We will soldier on, and we'll find the money, and we'll continue to do it. And so it was very inspiring in that way. The cash award was wonderful to have. I actually turned it back to the organization.
You did?
Yes, I did. I did. And but it lent credibility to the organization, and that's also another ripple effect that I experienced, and I think that others experience as well as a result of this. So these awards are very important. The financial support is wonderful, but they have this ripple effect as well, which is you can't measure, really.
What would you say to someone who says, nah, someone else will nominate? Doesn't work that way, does it?
No, we have to do it. It's a bit of work. You have to think about it, and you have to be prepared to advocate for somebody.
But there are people out there.
Yeah, there are plenty of people out there. In fact, I have somebody in mind that I'm thinking of nominating if I can convince her to let me nominate her.
The whole idea of recognizing unsung heroes relies on you nominating someone else. That's how we perpetuate it. And dare I use the expression from, a movie, pay it forward, acknowledge others. And so to Jane M. Hanson, Executive Director, Partners for Women in Justice, the Berry Foundation made a very good choice in selecting you, and I know that you're going to make a very good choice in nominating someone else. I want to thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Stay with us. This very special edition of One-on-One, Making a Difference, will continue from the Berry home right after this.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Johnson & Johnson, Health First New Jersey, TD Bank, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Community Education Centers. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and northjersey.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.